What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Slims Presents podcast, episode number 3. You are very lucky today. We've got a very special guest in the house, Rick Stevens. Music Hall, celebrating 1 year back on the streets. That's this Friday. Well, actually next Friday, the 12th. It's going to be an amazing show. We have Lydia Pence and Cold Blood performing with him. Classic Bay Area soul right there. Lydia Pence, my God, what pipes on that woman. Jesus Christ. Legend. She's a legend of her own. So we're going to have 2 legends in the house on that night, but that's not all. We wouldn't leave you with just that.
Come on.
We've also got Paula Harris. We've got former Tower of Power lead guitarist Jeff Tamalier. That's going to be awesome. And we got the Tribal Blues Band in the house. It's going to be an amazing night. Come on down. Friday, July 12th at the Great American Music Hall. I don't think anybody heard you.
Ow.
Ooh, yeah, I know. Back on the streets for 1 year. You've been living in, what, Antioch?
Been living in Antioch with my son, and I've been over in this area doing some assisted care provider for a 97-year young aunt of ours, Aunt
Wow.
T, and she is just incredible. Every interview I do, she gets not only honorable mention, she gets starring mentioned, and I'm here doing that, and of course I get to do shows as they present themselves.
Yeah.
I did a few things with Carlos Reyes' group and with Tony Lindsay and the Escovedo family over in Oakland at Yoshi's. And the Tower also. We did some things at Yoshi's, and then they welcomed me a couple of weeks ago at the San Mateo Fair.
Yeah, you performed with Tower Power for the first time in, 40 years?
It was magic. It
Man.
was my daughter Dawn Renee's birthday. That was at Yoshi's,
Uh-huh.
and then a couple of weeks ago at the fair. And it's magical every time.
Wow.
And the people are just great. It's standing room only, and it's just good to be exposed to the new crowd and the old crowd.
Yeah.
It's coming along good. It's coming along good.
Well, how do you think the music scene has changed since you were first involved back in the 70s?
Oh, my Lord. Well, I came from a musical background that started in the 40s with my uncle, the great composer, singer, songwriter, just piano player, by the name of Ivory Joe Hunter. And
That's right.
Uncle raised me along with the entire family. Everybody in the family had a band or sang. And I just evolved with them on stage at an earlier age in Port Arthur, Texas, the same hometown of Janis Joplin.
Wow.
So me and Janis had a lot in common, especially the way the situation was back there with all that ignorance.
Uh-huh.
You know, this area for you, that area for you. And
Right.
And just left Port Arthur and moved into Houston and kept singing in church and eventually wound up doing the doo-wop thing on Broadway, where I acquired the name of Rick and the Ravens. So I just shortened my last name, Stevens, Rick Stevens. And it's been since 1963, 50 years I've had this other identity.
Wow.
And like I say, it's just awesome to be able to be back in the business and to be appreciated like I am.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just such a humbling experience, all the love I've received. Thank you. You know, you and the folks here.
Well, it's my pleasure, for sure. It's an honor to have you here. You mentioned that you've had this sort of, other alter ego, Rick Stevens, since back in the 60s. Is there a difference between Rick Stevens and Don Carlos Stevenson?
I don't know. That's a good question, man. Chris, I think Don Stevenson grew up singing, always was singing, and then Rick Stevens just evolved into just kind of a maybe higher level, for lack of a description of what I did with my life on Broadway and just the whole thing with different groups throughout the area, like we're going to be with Lydia and Cold Blood. Well, we were all under contract with, as was Boz, to Bill Graham.
Yeah.
So just just coming to that point in time, Rick Stevens, was the guy, and have always been the name that has made the most money for me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all good, man.
Now, you've been on the streets for just about a year now. It'll be a year on the 20th?
Yeah. Actually, it was the 16th when
16th.
When Governor Brown signed my parole papers.
Now, how were you expecting that? Was it something that you were looking forward to, or was it more of a surprise?
The parole?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, every year you never know. I always went to my board hearings cautiously optimistic. And sure enough, at one point in time, I got a great lawyer, Peter J. Bolden. And he put some things together for me that showed how I was being basically treated illegally based on the law.
Okay.
And eventually the law worked on my behalf. The judges that we appealed to saw fit to just say, hey, you folks get it right. And eventually the commissioners, the board of prison hearings, they got it right. In-bank people, they got it right. And Governor Brown, he was governor when I came in '76.
Oh yeah.
He was governor when I got out in 2012. So
that's funny. I never actually thought about it like that.
Yeah. So you never really knew. You
Yeah.
just always. I just always put my best foot forward and brought him the best program that I was doing at the time. 37 years, 36 at that point, and just never had any discrepancies or violations on my record. So it all worked on my behalf.
Now, we should probably backtrack a little bit for the people that don't know the history. You've been, last year around the 16th of July, you were paroled after 36 years.
Yes, Lord.
Now, I'll let you describe briefly the situation that your life up until that point that led to your incarceration. Just to give some people a little bit of history. At the time, you had gone from doing your Broadway thing, Rick and the Ravens, and eventually you became a backup singer for Tower of Power.
No, I was co-lead singer with Rufus Miller. Me and Rufus Miller did the East Bay Grease album together.
Right.
And at that time, it was hectic times, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, rhythm and blues, and that's what we were doing. And it was just, I got involved with some very very destructive people, and it's nothing that I enjoy talking about, but I take responsibility for what I did and own up to it. And fortunately, met a judge that befriended me, Judge John McInerney, just a great jurist, that saw fit to put his hand up for me after all was said and done. After those tragic events, panic situation, and people were killed. And like I say, it's nothing I'm proud of. I regret the whole cha-cha, and just Lord knows, just I would advise anybody, if you're out there just listening to me, just please take time and think and just clean up your act. And if you need any help, talking about life or your struggles with dependency, drug dependency, I'll be there for you. Just give me a shout out, and I'll be more than happy to guide you as I was guided.
Now, at that time, was it the lifestyle of being in a band that was sort of gaining more attention that made these things available, or did you have a history leading up till then?
No,
with drug use, anything like that?
No, not at all. I just started using, and it just grew, and chemicals are no joke.
No, not at all.
You get strung out, and it's just like eating and drinking. You just have a need, this gnawing need. That's the only thing that'll satisfy you, just to get high, get loaded. And that's why I say, if anybody's struggling, I feel what you're going through at this point in time. And it was just, like a part of the environment. Everybody, I mean, God, you look at the tragedy of Hendrix, of Janis, Belushi, the speedballing. That's what I got involved in. And it was nothing nice. It was a very destructive lifestyle. And Robin Williams, I never ceased to to mention that he said cocaine's God's way of letting you know you got too much money. So just goes to show you just how, and then you get the people around, and everybody, the environment, everybody was using, and I jumped on the stupid bandwagon, but
right.
Praise God, 37 years I've been clean and sober.
Now, as you mentioned, obviously it wasn't just you. A lot of people back at that time had dependency issues, and really the culture had sort of a different perspective on drugs than they do now.
Oh yeah,
it was in a lot of ways we didn't quite know what the long-term effects of cocaine use were. You had doctors telling people, "Oh, it's not addictive," and doctors doing it themselves. It was a different world.
Sad but true.
But getting involved with the situation that you did, looking back on it now, was there a different way that you could have handled things, or do you think it's once you get involved in that lifestyle, it's sort of you're gonna go down that path?
No, it was just a one-way destructive street for me, and it was the only way I could have really avoided the situation was probably wind up in some hospital or some nut ward or maybe even dying, ODing on. But it was just, I guess after all was said and done, it was my destiny just to go through that whole trial and tribulation, the whole negative lifestyle I was leading, and eventually when this case jumped off and it dropped me to my knees. I went to my knees and started praying to my Lord and Savior, and sure enough, things just changed all night and day for me. Even though I was facing the death penalty,
right?
I mean, it's just the fact that I had just given my life to the Lord. I said, Lord, here I am, and I cleaned up. I kicked, and cold turkey in county jail. Could hold nothing on my stomach, and just getting rid of everything that was in my system.
Yeah. And
eventually just cleaned up. And like I say, the judge befriended me. And before you know it, just I had a lot of family support and a lot of friends that stuck by me. But it was quite an education, let me tell you.
Now, it was when you were actually sentenced, it was to death row.
Absolutely.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't until a few years later that death penalty was overturned in California.
No, it was twice. The Rosebud Court and the United States Supreme Court. There was two overturned the death penalty, and it freed a lot of guys that were on death row, on the shelf as we called it. And I was one of the first ones in '76 that got the death penalty was overturned. So, talk about a wow moment.
Right.
Never expected it. Chris never expected it, And
tell me a little bit about how does that feel to go from not feeling anything, being totally numb, and finally detoxing in the joint, and then facing the reality of, wow.
Yeah, life with 7 to life.
What was that like for you? Was that a moment that changed you?
No. Like I say, when the case jumped off, that's what changed me. You know what I mean? The whole trauma and the drama of what I did and what I was involved with. And before you know it, I was on my knees asking forgiveness.
Yeah.
And my life just became progressively better, more positive.
Yeah.
I got stronger. I got, mentally, like I say, it was an education. I got physically stronger. You get to work out and do all these good cardiovascular things for yourself, and spiritually. I grew spiritually. My Lord and Maker, I think, was just a major part of my whole growth. Emotionally, I matured, because obviously I was a zip damn fool. Using all them chemicals at the time. So no, I wised up. It wised me up, like I say. So that's how I survived.
Now, prison on the whole, what kind of experience was it for you? Was it overall a positive experience? Were you able to go to school, get an education, things like that?
That's the operative word, education. Yeah. And back in the day, we used to be able to get those Pell Grants. And I graduated a couple of times. just for the heck of it. I already had a high school diploma. I went and got another high school diploma and a GED. I just whatever was available, and then eventually I wound up going to college and getting about 66 units towards my baccalaureate degree. And then they took away the Pell Grants. We had no more money to do the things that we were doing college-wise. And during that time, I just continued to work and become involved with the administration. I worked for wardens and the captains and the lieutenants and swept floors and worked in the kitchen. I mean, there was nothing I wouldn't do.
Right.
You know, if you asked me to do it, I'd take care of business. You know, that was my job, and that's what I was hired to do at the time. So I always worked from the bottom to the top.
Yeah.
But it was basically an education, physically, mentally, spiritually.
Did you feel like you were in the minority in that? Do you feel like prison presented that opportunity to everybody, or did you have to seek it out?
Oh, you had to seek it out. It was available to everybody.
Right.
But you did have to go and seek, and there was like AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, NA, Narcotics Anonymous, the various groups breaking barriers to just try to reach out to the kids at the time. We used to go out and do speaking seminars to kids that were in trouble, and they would even bring them into the prison at Vacaville and over at Solano Prison, and a lot of other prisons like the Squires over at San Quentin. So there was a lot of community involvement I got involved in. So I saw it, and it looked positive. I'd raise up my hand and say, "Hey, I'm ready. You know, let me be a part of this." And it was part of the program that worked on my behalf.
Now, what do you feel the repercussions of eliminating that education program for inmates? Is it going to have a serious effect on people's ability to be rehabilitated?
Chris, it's a tragedy that they would take away those type of positive programs,
right? And
a lot of good vocational programs that are not available based on budgetary problems that they're going through up on the bill mill. And having been in the system for so many years, you see how to run it.
Right.
If I was running it, and how not to run it the way they were running it, because that's why the courts, federal courts, are involved now, because they just kept dragging their feet on health care and the overcrowding situations. I mean, there's a lot of problems, and I believe a lot of it could be eliminated if they just would continue to just educate people,
right,
and just give them the skills to be able to leave prison and go to work.
Right.
But alas, we have what we have.
Now, did you have friends that were released that were able to integrate back into society, having gone through those through those programs?
Many.
And then people, have you seen people that haven't been able to?
Oh yeah. It could be a revolving door.
Right.
That's for doggone sure. And I think what I was called, along with a lot of other guys, we were called lifers. Okay. And the lifers had the lowest recidivism rate of any group. Whereas the guy just, he'd come in 2 or 3 times, he'd get busted for a joint or whatever,
right?
Car theft, and it carried no real long sentence. And so they would get out after 6 months, a year, whatever time they did. And if they didn't have the skills to go to work or were strung out, I'd see them right back in the joint. You know what I'm saying? And so I would just, like a revolving door, man. Oh, you're back. Hey, what's up? Couldn't make it out there, huh, man? I said, well, one of these days I'll be out there. I'll show you how to do it.
Well, do you feel the prison system is as it exists now, is it an effective way to rehabilitate people?
I rehabilitated myself. There was no rehabilitation when I came in. And they just added that CDCR, rehabilitation, to the name just not long ago. But I'm the one that rehabilitated myself. I don't think anybody can rehabilitate another person, not unless they want to be.
Right.
And you have to go within and just really be on your game. And that's what I was, 'cause I was determined to get out of prison.
Right.
And sure enough, like I say, everything I did, I used to be able to go out of the prison to do musical performances. I'd go to
I've heard a lot of old timers that were in the joint at 70s and 80s that they would actually let you go. Some people, they would let you get out and go to the store, pick up stuff. They would send people on runs. That would
happen. I don't know about that, but but I know musically what I was able to do. Again, based on Judge McInerney and some good people, Warden Powell, and the directors at that time, Director Inamoto, Director Ruth Russian, Patrice Russian's mother. They saw that I was no threat, to anybody, to the community. So they trusted me, and I would never violate that trust.
Right.
So I'd go to Sacramento, I'd go to Vallejo, I'd go to Vacaville, I'd go to Fairfield, just different. Was approved to go to the first ACA, American Correctional Association meeting in San Diego.
Wow.
And it just shows how positive the system can be when it's right.
Right. Now, was your journey a personal journey, or did you have a mentor that was sort of, putting you on the game as you were going through the system?
Many mentors, of course. I met a lot of staff that were just good human beings. They ran the prison on a whole different level than some other. I mean, you had prison staff that was knuckleheads, just like you had convicts.
Of course,
that was knuckleheads. So you had to deal. I had to deal with both sides of the line.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. Fortunately, the music worked on my behalf. On the line with staff and on the yard with all the convicts. I mean, I could walk into any weight pile or walk the yard and not fear for myself, my safety, just based on the music, because everybody knew I was coming.
Right.
I mean, it was a well publicized case. They knew I was coming, so it enabled me to just jump right into the scene, being as positive as I was, getting as clean as I was, and as healthy as I was, to be able to do shows on the yard, in the chapel, for all the prisoners. And every time there was a warden show, when all the staff from the workers in the prison would bring their families in, my band was the band that would always entertain them.
Nice.
So it worked on my behalf, the music. And if a young vato, a young dude, didn't know me, he'd hear me on the radio, and they would always point. I could see them, acknowledging me, or their parents.
Yeah.
Their uncles, their tios, their tias. Everybody in the family would know. Oh yeah, you were there with that guy, Rick Stevens.
Yeah.
We used to go to the Fillmore or a different type of fair or dance, and sure enough, I think it was like my angels. The musical angels were surrounding me.
Now, did you have any other inmates that you developed a bond with, where you mentored them?
Oh, many, yeah. All the groups. Well, first off, you when you came into the system, there's a lot of therapy groups. Like I say, that's what helped me a lot emotionally, get me on the straight and narrow. You would have therapy groups. You would have different attack therapy groups, and it involved just the whole area of races, religions, and we'd all sit around and just you talk about the case and just get it all out. Just be honest with what you did, take responsibility for what you did, and sure. And if there was any time that after the session was over, somebody wanted to talk to me, pull me aside, and quiz me about, man, what's it like being on tour with Santana? What's happening with Aretha? Something like that. I said, okay, is that what you really want to talk about? Come on, man. Let's get down to business. Well, why you keep coming back to prison?
Right.
Talk to me on the real. So whatever they wanted to discuss, I was always there.
Now that you've been back on the streets for just about a year now, I get the sense that you surround yourself with family, and you are really every time I see you, every time you are at a show, you're always with your son,
CC, number one,
he's sitting over here. By the way, we're gonna give him a little shout out. But yeah, you
Lord.
take care of your aunt. You know,
She's a blessing.
is family the thing that got you through that entire time and keeps you on the track that you're on?
One of the things.
Yeah.
Sure. It was all up to me, and they just helped me, just like strengthen me. I was just like pumping iron. You know, I just got stronger and stronger with family that was always there for me. My son, my daughters. Fortunately, I'm still friends with some of my ex-wives.
Oh.
I mean, it's all cool too.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And just a lot of people in the business
Mm-hmm.
that, you know, I always stayed in touch with the Tower, and those guys were just real kind to me. And when I was in the joint, and when I got out of the joint, when I hit the streets, I just did a thing with the fellas at the San Mateo Fair, and we're in the process now of eventually putting together a gospel album.
Nice.
And some other albums on Doc Kupka's Strokeland Records, and now in the process of developing some CDs of my own with some people in a place called the Track Shack with Jeff Tamalier, who's going to be on the show with me.
Right, yeah.
Great. I call him the Funk Meister. Great guitar player. Well, he is funky as a bow-legged monkey. So all those people that have reached out and supported me.
Right.
That's basically what I had going on. I'm blessed. Like I say, I'm blessed. All those people were there for me when I was in prison.
And you were able to keep those relationships up for
the
entire 36 years?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
for sure. They just were always there, letters, phone calls.
Yeah.
Things I used to take for granted. I don't take them for granted no more. You know,
Right,
a letter
right.
means a lot to a guy that's incarcerated, or a visit, just a simple visit.
Right.
And we used to get, back in the day, we'd get conjugal visits.
Oh,
Where
yeah.
your family could come in,
Uh-huh.
bring the kids in, and the wife and the mom and the dad,
Yeah.
and that can only just bring all the more positiveness to a person that's doing time. You know, just give them something to look forward to, the bonding of your family and everything. Man, I can't say enough good things about that. That's one of the positives that I would say. If I ran the prison system, I would make doggone sure that people, you know, had the opportunity to bond with their families.
Right, right. Now, one of the things that I'm very interested in is obviously when you went in, what was it, 76?
76. Yeah.
And you came out in 2012.
2012.
How in touch were you with the world during that time that you were there? Was it a huge shock coming out and seeing the changes that had taken place, or were you kind of prepared for it?
Oh yeah. Well, you know, we had TV, we had
Right,
papers,
right.
everything that was going on. We'd get news, what was happening through word of mouth. But the technology is the main thing when you come out.
Right.
If you're not prepared for cell phones and iPods and
Right.
podcasts and
Yeah, exactly.
iPads and all that kind of good stuff, you know, you're going to be a step behind everything.
Uh-huh.
That's why I would always encourage guys that were getting involved with at the time when we had computer classes. I'd say, hey, that's the way to go. And the technology, the cyber world, and the food.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
the two mind-blowing things. I mean, just being able to go like we did. We go to Denny's or something, IHOP, or one of the good
Right.
soul food restaurants and what have you. It just means so much, as far as a person's health is concerned, to be able to eat the right foods.
Right.
I used to call it fuel.
Uh-huh.
We didn't call it food, but if you had the money, you could get quarterly packages once every 3 months, and you could buy better quality of food.
Right.
Keep yourself healthy, vitamins and what have you. So that's what I did, and I think my garlic regimen and always drinking my purified water is what sustained me all those years too.
Right. And you had mentioned that, you know, when you went in, Jerry Brown was the governor. When you came out, Jerry Brown was the governor. But it's a very different world that you're coming out to. What are some of the things that have changed in terms of approaching the music business? As you mentioned, back in the day, it was all kind of Bill Graham. It was very different than it is now, even though still in San Francisco, at least, there's a lot of remnants of Bill Graham's legacy. Yeah. You know, our company, we are all, not everybody, but a lot of people were trained by Bill Graham, and it's sort of a spin-off. So
may he rest in peace.
Indeed. But how different is it nowadays? Is it easier for someone to get going in music, or harder?
It's for me, like I say, I'm just so humbled by the blessings that I received, and working with Dr. Bernardo Gonzalez, Dr. Rock.
Dr. Rock. And Latin Rock Inc. They're putting on the show. Can't forget that.
Yeah, and Jeff Traeger. I mean, these people have just stood up and just basically put me back on the map. Mm-hmm. And I've been able to do different shows with, like I say, Escovedos, Carlos Reyes, Tony Lindsay, The Tower, Lydia Pence, The Boys in Cold Blood. Just a lot of great musicians that have opened their arms up to me, and that's primarily because of Jeff Traeger and Dr. Rock. So it's cool for me, and I think the notoriety, just based on the fact that the Tower is still out there doing it.
Oh yeah,
and Still a Young Man is like my signature song. It's enabled me to get right back into the business.
Huh. Now, are you a songwriter as well, or are you just singing? Were you in prison? Are you writing stuff, or are you just sort of more of a standards kind of old time singer?
Yeah, well, I like to think of myself as a soul singer, and I have notes written that I haven't even brought out of the Foot Locker. You know what I'm saying? Just ideas of songs, and my one son, he is just a prolific writer and musician. And my son here, CC, he's a lot like me. He's a scribbler. He's always writing down his ideas and what have you, and I really love him for that. And that's basically what I used to do all throughout the years.
Yeah.
So eventually, one of these days, we're gonna compare notes, son. You ready? You ready? You ready for that? And we're gonna find our way via those notes and create good music for the people, and just have fun like we're gonna have. Friday, July 12th.
Indeed. Is the goal to restart a recording career, or are you happy with live performances?
Well, both. Recording, of course, is going to benefit me. One will help the other. The being seen by the people, and if I got music CDs out there, they'll buy those and they'll come to the shows. And I still have another, I think probably a year and a half on parole. So I'll be limited in my travels.
Right.
To be able to do a lot of things. I can't go outside the state. And I just really have to play it close to the vest. But recording and performing is what I love to do. And that's fortunately what I'm also involved in. And I have a movie project that's being, got befriended by a guy by the name of Darren Shepard.
Okay. And
he worked with Scorsese and just finished a project with Val Kilmer. And he befriended me when I was in prison. Asked if he wrote me, asked if he could come visit me, and we, like I say, became friends. And he said he wanted to write a story about me, my life. And so we're co-writing a script called Bump City, the Rick Stevens story.
All right.
So that's one iron in the fire, along with the recording, along with the performing, and the great Joel Selvin from the Chronicle.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, my man.
The smart ass.
Yeah. The great Selvini. He'll be glad to hear that Don Carlos put a little shout out there to him. He and I are collaborating on a book.
Oh, really?
So it's in the development stages also. So. I've been trying to stay as busy as I can after I take care of my Aunt T. But she's my priority. She took care of the family, and I'm here to take care of her.
Awesome. That's amazing.
Oh, yeah, buddy.
Now, this movie, I'm interested. Is it going to be not a documentary? It's a fiction story, or a live
docudrama. I'm sure that they'll take poetic license with it, but
right.
It's based on my growing up in Texas, my being involved with the music business, all the doo-wop thing, everything I've described here, everything I did in church, coming here on Broadway, becoming Rick Stevens, eventually winding up with the Tower on the first album, East Bay Grease. And the hit from that album was a song called You're a Diamond Sparkling in the Sand.
Yeah.
So I look forward to re-recording that and just get involved as much as I can musically. And if there's somebody along the way I can help, guide them in the right direction, hey, let's do that. Let's make music. Let's make money.
Now, while you were imprisoned, did you have access to movies? Were you able to watch? What were some of your favorites while you were in the joint?
Well, we used to have movies in the gym. You'd have movies in the gym and on the big theater screen. And eventually they started piping them to the cells via the video hookup, the video channel.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just so many classic. God, I don't know where to start. I'm a PBS kind of guy, History Channel, National Geographics, and I just love knowledge. Knowledge is power, they say, and I just love it, and hopefully it'll rub off on my grandkids, and I got 2 great grandkids. So
you're more into keeping it real and learning.
Oh, for sure.
Rather than escaping.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I got to keep that gray matter working. I wind up taking a blue pill. Me and my son facetiously call these. What are they called? They're blue pills. Some kind of antioxidant or something.
Oh, yeah.
Supposed to be good for the mind. Not the other blue pill that I heard about. I don't need that, I don't think.
Times have changed, my friend.
Hey, well, at 73, I just hope the next 73 years are just as probably more wiser and more healthier and just more loving than the first 73. So I'm gonna be hanging in there.
Well, I'm sure you've been asked this a few times, but when you were released, what was the first thing that you had to do? Obviously all the procedural stuff you got to do.
Right.
But what was the first thing that you just wanted to do?
Eat.
What did you want to eat?
Eat. I wanted to eat. And fortunately, when I touched down, all the kids were there waiting on me with the balloons and the horns and the love. And I think I had barbecue chicken, potato salad. We had greens, cornbread, yams. I mean, just all
the good stuff.
All the soul food I could stuff in my face. And that was the main thing. And to be able to enjoy, sit down and enjoy a meal, with my children.
Right. Now,
yes.
You around 14 that you moved to the Oakland area?
Yeah.
And you went to Oakland High School?
Yeah, Wildcats, Oakland High Wildcats.
Do you still spend time in Oakland these days?
Not that much. I've got family there, friends, of course, and anytime there's a show, say at Yoshi's,
right,
I'm there. But that's basically it. I'm primarily I'm either in Antioch or I'm here in the city taking care of A&T, like I say.
Now, what was the Bay Area like back in those days, in the late '60s, early '70s? Just describe to me the environment, the feeling of what it was like, because it was a revolutionary time over here. You had the Black Panthers. You had the hippies over here in San Francisco.
For sure.
Did you fall in line with any of those types of groups?
Well, we would do shows, benefits for the Black Panthers food breakfast program for kids.
Right. Yeah.
We did that. We put ourselves in line with them to support that effort.
Right.
And then we also got on tour with Malo, El Chicano, Santana, just anybody and everybody for the farm workers So we did extensive tours throughout the state on behalf of the farm workers. So there were those projects that I'm to this day I'm glad we were a part of.
Now, were you a very political person in those days?
No,
it was just part of the scene.
Yeah, and it was an opportunity to help somebody, and it was and of course when you're rubbing elbows with Carlos and Michael Carabello and Michael Shreve and Greg Riley and Chipito, Chippy. It was just such a great thing, and then the Malo guys came along, and it was just a salsa soul review.
Right. Now, what are some of the people that you've worked with in the past that you just are most proud of?
Aretha, Santana.
Now, what did you do with Aretha? You guys played with her at the Fillmore, right?
Yeah, national tours. We did some tours with her. L.A., Detroit, that's her hometown, New York, and Sly, Family Stone, of course.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to. I think Greg Rico is probably going to be at the show with us on the 12th. Let me see. Rod Stewart, Creedence Clearwater, 3 national tours. And Carlos Santana and the fellas, 3 national tours, and just anybody and everybody. I'm sure we did a lot of things with Boz over at the Fillmore.
Right.
Compliments of Bill Graham, the Pointer Sisters, Elvin.
Oh, wow.
I mean, It's a Beautiful Day, of course, Cold Blood, and Lydia. Just anybody Azteca, Pete and Coke Escovedo, and then Sheila. She came along later on.
Yeah.
So it was just so cool. Everything. I mean, it would be pimps and players and hippies and squares and bikers and Samoans, just the Chicanos. Everybody that was anybody was at the shows, was at the concerts.
Yeah.
So we just had a great time. Never no knuckleheads, shootouts and all that other stupid stuff. But it was just it was a lot of love. It was a lot of love in the city.
Well, things are a little bit different nowadays in terms of the overall scene.
Yeah.
There's not that many people making soul music, funk music. Ooh, it's sort of fallen out of favor.
I'm back.
Are you going to bring it back? Is this one of your goals?
Indubitably. Trust me, man. I'm telling you, this is what I'm in the process of doing now. Like I say, in developing some material on some CDs, which should be coming out pretty soon. Right. And that's what I do. I'm a soul singer. Even though I've done the Tony Bennett stuff on Broadway and all the other type of pop standards that was called for at the Condor, at the Galaxy, Big Al's, Peppermint Tree. The Galaxy was just such a great place for me, and a guy by the name of Dave Rapkin, bless his heart. He just really always supported me, and Pete and Gino over the Condor. That was I was there right after George and Teddy. In fact, Sly was working a disc jockey at the time, and my off days he would come in and work at the Condor. He would do his thing on my off days.
Right.
And then before you know it, he just blew up.
We all know what happened there.
What a genius! What a genius!
Yeah.
He is truly one of my heroes musically. How he put it all together. So it was just always a lot of music going on, man.
Yeah.
And then, like I say, and the drugs.
Of course. Yeah.
Love the ladies. So it was just all part of the scene.
Now, are there any young artists that have approached you to try and revitalize that soul sound? Is that something that you're interested in doing? Is passing on to the next generation?
Oh yes. Yeah. A lot of young guys have stepped up, and we've gotten calls to. I'm in the process of eventually. One of my priorities is to put my own band together. I mean, I've been blessed, like I say, just to be on tour. The many tours we're doing with Lydia Pence and Cold Blood.
Right.
I mean, those guys are just sharp musicians. I mean, just strong. And eventually I want to have my own group to do my own thing and just grow from that. But until that time, I'll just take what Dr. Rock and Jeff Traeger come up with.
Right, right.
Which ain't been too bad.
No, not too bad. You've already played at obviously you played here at Slim's.
Great night.
Bimbos.
Great night.
You're going to be at the Music Hall.
Great
Yoshi's. Night. I mean, these are some excellent places.
Yeah.
Is it, are you itching to get back out there? Is it frustrating that you can't get on that national stage just yet?
No, not yet. I don't think I'm really ready. Even though eventually that's where you want to go, but see, I'm not good at being in airplanes. I'm not good at being on boats. You know what I'm saying? So anything I do, I really envision just kind of taking my time. Maybe get like John Madden, get the Rick Stevens cruiser, and just taking my time and going, to driving to Arizona, Nevada, Portland, up in Seattle, and or wherever to do concerts. Mm-hmm. But I'm not really going to rush into anything. I'm fortunate, like I got my number one son who has my back, and he's really got a good head on his shoulders. Praise God. And his mom did a hell of a job. I love you, Helen.
What's up, Helen? Shout out to Helen.
Yeah. So, we're just going to take it one step at a baby steps until I get this this leash off my neck with this parole. So just being able to put things together until that happens is enabling me to just to build and like I say, put this band together.
Yeah. Now, what are some of the moments from when you were just getting started with Tower of Power, and because right when you joined the band, they were just starting to East Bay Grease, and then it just kept going from there.
Yeah. Bump City, and then
Bump City, it's an excellent record, classic.
Yes,
what are some of the memories that you really cherished from those days? Were there moments that still stick with you?
The night, Aretha, Ray Charles, King Curtis, the Memphis Horns, Billy Preston, Bernard Purdy on drums, and just the whole Stax Volt review.
Right.
I mean, it was at the Fillmore 3 nights. We were the opening act for Aretha.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't forget those. You don't forget those gigs. I mean, some great gigs with Santana and the boys, of course. Yeah. But those were the times that just really, really stand out because of, first of all, Bill Graham catered it like it should have been catered, with black-eyed peas and cornbread and yams. we had all the soul food, and it was just a great time, and everybody was just, good music. And it was all about the soul nights. And Bill would always try to do a variety of musical shows. And that night it was just straight soul music with Aretha and us. And Aretha would call me out on stage.
Oh, really?
Oh, it blew my mind.
Oh, my God.
She'd call everybody and say, "Look here, y'all. This is my singer."
Oh,
I said, "Oh, Your Highness, the Queen." Yeah.
That's amazing.
So you don't forget those times. You know what I'm saying? But it was all due to that great impresario Bill Graham. I mean, he had his finger on the pulse of everything. And Boz, he was promoting Boz and doing all the concerts there. So, but you don't forget Aretha and Ray Charles.
No,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah,
that sounds amazing.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh man. Rest in peace to
Ray. If I may, I might mention that I've been getting emails from Steve Cropper, the great guitar player from the Memphis Stax Volt review with the Blues Brothers, and eventually I hope to do some collaborations with him. Because he's always been one of my heroes and just a great individual.
That's amazing.
Thank you, Steve. Call me.
I can only imagine, man, having Aretha praising you like that on stage.
I know.
Wow.
And then Ray had a son. Ray Charles had a son that was incarcerated over in Vacaville in that Solano prison.
That's right.
And every doggone time he would come to see him, I wouldn't get a visit.
No?
I mean, there were guys who said, Rick, you just missed Ray Charles.
Right.
And we were talking about you to him and blah, blah, blah. I say, man, of all the things. So I never got to kick it with Ray, to relive those memories of the Fillmore days when we played together. But
he must not have seen you. Sorry, bad joke.
Cut that out. Cut that out.
Sorry,
Jose Feliciano, Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ray. Rest in peace. We all love you.
Amen.
No, having the musical scene have changed so much since those days. Are you a fan of the newer music? Do you follow hip hop, the new R&B, anything like that, or are you strictly old school?
I am old school R&B and the new soul R&B singers. Now, I don't begrudge anybody that's making a living, making their money. So if they doing their hip hop thing, more power to you, partner. Ladies, do what you do, and I'm gonna make it do what I do. So I don't think we're in conflict. And I just saw Uncle Charlie Wilson the other night on the BET Award show, and he is one of my all-time heroes, favorite singers. And what he's doing is what I do: soul music, soul singing, and it's still paying off. And eventually, I'll probably he had Snoop Dogg on the stage with him doing, and it was a good conglomeration, good mix. And hey, if it comes to that, if I got to do that and I see a way to go, by all means, hip hop will work for me too.
Now, is there anyone from the newer soul singers that really strikes you?
Yeah. Anthony Hamilton's a dynamite singer. He's out of Houston, I understand, one of my hometowns. Eric Benet. I saw a guy the other night, Andrew Brown. Boy, he was and I got to look him up and see what kind of material he's putting down. Justin Timberlake. What Justin Timberlake is doing with that. Got it with a suit and tie. Soul.
Yeah, he got a little bit of soul there.
I know, man. That's where I'm coming from. that type of material is what touches my soul. And so I'll be more likely I'll be doing that song somewhere down the line at the club or in concert.
So are you looking to really touch base with a lot of these younger artists and create a new sound for yourself?
It'd be my honor.
Oh, yeah.
Of course. So, well, like I say, the material that I have planned to do is old school R&B. Give all praise and honor to Wilson Pickett, Otis Redding, Sam Cooke, all Ray, all of those dynamite singers. In fact, I'm going to do a thing that Natalie Cole did with her father.
Her father,
that whole scene where he brought him back. I'm going to do a song. I'm going to do one of Uncle Ivory-Joe's songs.
Oh, really?
And I'm going to probably wind up doing that, harmonizing with him on his song that, since I met you, baby, my whole life has changed. And
That's going to be amazing.
Oh, yeah. I think it's going to be great, because he was one of the real giants on Atlantic Records.
Yeah.
Along with Ray Charles, the Drifters, Ruth Brown, the Clovers, Laverne Baker, Big Joe Turner.
Right.
I mean, all those people. So Uncle come from that whole genre of R&B singers. So we got a lot of ideas, man. I'm gonna try a little this, little old, little new, and right down the middle is what I do soul wise, and it's gonna be a lot of fun when you come to see me. July 12th.
July 12th at the Great American Music Hall. Don't forget. How could you forget?
Really?
We've been plugging it all day. It's going to be an amazing show. I definitely thank you for coming down, Rick.
You're
I know
welcome.
you got things to do.
You're welcome.
Places to be, people to see. So we're gonna wrap this up, let you get on your way. Definitely want to encourage everybody to come on down to the Great American Music Hall.
That's right.
Friday, July 12th. It's going to be an amazing night.
Chris, well, thanks for having me.
All kind of Bay Area royalty in the
and,
house.
And I know I'll see you in concert.
Oh, for sure. I'll be there. Any chance to see Lydia Pence in Cold Blood, I'm already there.
All right,
But with Rick Stevens in the house, it's going to be just that much better.
Hallelujah.
And you know there's going to be some heavy hitters in the audience there.
Ooh, yes, indeed.
Might even bring some people up on stage. You never know.
Exactly.
Come on down. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be a celebration. It's going to be celebrating 1 year back on the streets, almost to the day. So come on down. It's going to be a party. It's going to be food. It's going to be drinks. It's going to be good times. Everybody's going to be having a blast. Good music.
Tell it like it is.
All right, everybody. That's it for Slims Presents podcast. We'll be back again sometime soon. Pay attention to our Facebook page. That's facebook.com/SlimsSF or facebook.com/GAMH for the music hall. You can also hit us up on Twitter, SlimsSF or GAMH, or you can go to slimspresents.com. We got many ways for you to connect with us. All right, everybody. Thank you. That is the end of the Slims Presents podcast. You can find us on YouTube tomorrow, and definitely come down and check Rick out. Check out his new projects. They're coming out. Thank you, everybody.